What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bodacious Rant with Bern and Rye. Hope everybody's doing great. I know I am. Just got out of the theater watching. This movie I think is going to be my top 10 of the year as of now. It was so well done. We are talking about the latest movie and probably one of the most iconic franchises in sci-fi and horror, and that is Alien Romulus, starring Kaylee Spaney, David Johnson, Isabella Merced, and so on and so forth. This is non-spoiler reviews, so we're not going to get too much into it, but if you do like the video, give us that thumbs up. We always appreciate that. Ring the bell so you guys can stay tuned when we drop episodes, and of course subscribe just to keep joining the Randy community. Don't forget, if you haven't already, we got our Borderlands video up so you can watch us bash that a little bit, and also we got Cuckoo up there too, so a lot of good stuff for you guys to kind of catch up on with us. But anyways, so Alien Romulus is an interesting movie because it is both a sequel and a prequel to a certain extent, depending how you want to look at it, because it takes place between the first Alien movie and then Aliens, Alien, the second Alien movie, essentially, in which Kaylee Spaney and a group of other young adults are working on a colony, trying to basically, they're dreaming of going to another planet where it's just a better environment, healthier environment. And then they discover a station that's orbiting their planet that they're on, and they're going to go try and steal equipment to try and get to this other planet. And in doing so, like the other Alien movies, they open a galactic Pandora's box, and just horror ensues from there. So the Kaylee Spaney has also had a really good year. We were talking about that with Dan Stevens and Cuckoo, and yeah, like, she's killing it. She has Civil War. She has this under her belt. Like, she's got a pretty solid filmography for 2024 alone. Isabella Merced, just always one of my favorite actors. And, oh, man, the one person I have to highlight before I pass it off to you, Bern, is just David Johnson, who plays Andy. Just, holy shit, one of the best acting, one of the best characters and just acting jobs I've seen all year. I just have to get that out. Bern, what did you think of this movie?
I second all of your praise there. Those actors were pretty great. Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson in particular really anchored this movie down. And David Johnson was such a huge surprise. I knew Kaylee Spaney was great because, we saw her earlier this year in Civil War, and she was fantastic in that. And she was fantastic in this one too. But yeah, David Johnson, I hadn't seen him in anything before, but in this one, he absolutely blew me away with what he did. So great there. But as far as the rest of the movie goes, look, when they announced that Fede Alvarez was going to be the director for this movie, I thought, that's perfect. That's just the perfect symmetry of like a franchise and a director. Because if you've seen any of his previous movies, whether it be the Evil Dead remake or Don't Breathe, that, Fede Alvarez just have that knack for a very perverted style of horror, where it just really gets up in the disgusting sexual weirdness of it all. And no better franchise to get into than Alien for that particular type of stuff. So yeah, his use of practical effects here, the way he stages a lot of the set pieces in this, and just recaptured that atmosphere from the very first movie, just completely blew me away. It's very much a return to form for this franchise that has gone on and tried to be a little bit ambitious in the things that it tries to tackle, and it's succeeded and failed, in certain extents. And I've enjoyed seeing it try to reach, different heights, but just the fact that it's sort of it's going back to its roots, and it's really just sort of what he did for the Evil Dead franchise with his Evil Dead remake. He does so here, and I thought he absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, because I love Fede Alvarez's last movies like Don't Breathe and Evil Dead. I was just like, I don't know how it's going to work with Alien, because while Alien does have some element of body horror, which both those movies really nail at, it was just like, I don't know, because... And it's funny, I was thinking about that while after and before I watched it. Like, Alien and Predator are easily some of the most iconic creatures and characters in general in sci-fi and horror, both alone. But they've had so many bad movies, it's like, maybe they should die. But they keep getting attempts to, like, rebuild themselves. Like, we had Predators in 2009 with the Predator franchise, and we had Prometheus and Alien Covenant in several years ago. Both of those were kind of considered, they were solid movies, all three of them, but never really went anywhere for the most part. But then we got Prey a few years ago, immediately revamped the franchise, and that's exactly what this did for Alien, in my opinion. Perfect blend of the first and second one, bringing back mostly that horror aspect of it, and yeah, just I hate to say it, like the alien creature is cool and stuff, but it really brings it back to the original, where it's like this is not something you'd want to be around whatsoever. I definitely was like dreading when it came on screen. So props to him, and most of it was practical effects, so that's even better. Having said all that, just praising those three actors, the effects, the gore, the atmosphere, everything about it. I'm going to give this movie a hard 4 out of 5. Almost 5. I got to see it again, but Byrne does have some good points that we can't get into, that there are maybe some things they tried to do to change it up, but it was just okay. Like it didn't really vibe well for the most part for this franchise, but highly recommended, especially in IMAX, Dolby, regular, whatever. This is one of those movies, like one of the best horror movies all year. Up with there with like First Omen, Long Legs, all that good stuff. So recommend to see it ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I absolutely agree. This one is also going to be a 4 out of 5 for me for all the reasons that you listed. The things that we kind of like, could say like could be divisive in this movie. It's stuff obviously we can't talk about, and comes up probably like in the third act. So it's going to be one of those things where it'll be interesting to see how the larger fan base sort of reacts to it. But for me, a lot of it really did work. Where the negatives come in for me in particular is just one particular CGI thing that reoccurs during the movie that I didn't absolutely love. Don't hate it, but it just it didn't really work for me all the time. And also, the movie does, for the longest time, really work on its own merit, and it just got a little bit tongue-in-cheek in certain points in terms of like references to like the larger franchise, and like a lot of like little like winks and nods and stuff, and that I thought I could have done without. But it's cool that the movie doesn't rely on that. It's very much doing its own thing within this universe, and I thought they nailed all those aspects of it. So it does stand on its own legs and doesn't rely on it being like a alien franchise movie to sort of succeed. So for all those reasons, yeah, 4 out of 5, like you said. Highly recommend watching this movie if you're a fan of the franchise. And you see it on the biggest screen possible to get the most out of it.
Yeah, like thinking about like when we did the review, I kind of forgot where I thought about it, but honestly, if you just like when we did Prey, it was one of those things I would say, if Predator or Prey was one of your favorite movies, totally fine. Very similar in this one, that if you had to watch any of the Alien movies, or at least a few of them, it'd be Alien Romulus, and Aliens, and that's all you could watch, and that's it. That you will be a happy fan with this franchise if you just watch those three. Easily the strongest movies of the entire franchise, because there's also been Alien Resurrection, Alien 3, AVPR, Alien Covenant, and Prometheus. I would still say Prometheus, because those are actually the 4 core movies that you should watch, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, this is kind of one of those interquels that sort of like takes that position of like, okay, you can only watch the original ones and then this one and enjoy yourselves. But if you're a fan of the larger franchise as a whole, there's a lot of stuff in here for kind of everybody almost.
Yeah, and oh my God, Bern, I want to keep talking about this to share with the world what we saw, but you guys got to go see it yourselves. Please, for those of you who have seen it already, let us know what you thought in the comments. We'd love to get your thoughts and keep this conversation going. But it's out playing everywhere, so definitely go see it. And until next time, everyone, stay bodacious and keep on ranting.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good. Be safe. For as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.